Hello everyone, it's Ashley with Amare, owner and founder of Amare Healing Arts, Plastic Surgery Recovery Center, and Holistic Clinic, specializing in manual lymphatic drainage. We have 2 locations in New Jersey, Highland Park and Elizabeth, and I also offer virtual consults. If you're not in New Jersey but still need help with your recovery, you can give the office a call at 732-841-0142 to set up your sessions. We have our post-op shop where we offer post-op supplies like Lipo foams and BBL pillows, and I teach you guys how to use those products with the videos that we have on our product page. That's amarepostopshop.com. We also have our online courses where I teach you guys what massages you would need after plastic surgery, when to get your massages, who to get them from, what the lymphatic system is, what lymphatic massages actually are, and all the research that you would need on your post-op massages and finding a lymphatic therapist. All of these links are in our bio as well as in the description boxes, so you guys can go and check that out. I will see you guys soon. Ashley with Amare. Bye. Ashley with Amare. So today we're going to talk about my favorite product, which is the wound care that we suggest. So first of all, let's talk about why wound care is important. So you go to your doctor, you get lipo, tummy tuck, BBL, breast augmentation, right? You have incisions, you have stitches, you've got stitches and cuts. Sometimes they don't stitch them, sometimes they glue them. Sometimes they'll leave your incisions open so that you drain. Now what's coming out of that, we have videos on that, what's coming out of that and drains. But that stuff is like the fluid that they put in you when they do surgery. So tumescence, which is, stuff that they put in there, any, excess blood that's coming out, all of that stuff. That is separate from swelling. I have a video on that. But we're talking about your wounds. So sometimes your wounds are just open, right? They're just a hole. Sometimes they're stitches and they're dissolvable. Sometimes they're stitches that need to come out. Sometimes they glue them. Sometimes they tape them. But you have incisions. You've got cuts everywhere. So how do we take care of these properly? Now, again, as with every product that I pick, with your surgery and your recovery, you want to be doing the things that are going to make you heal the best. Because guys, this stuff is, cosmetic in a sense. Sometimes it's medically necessary, like you have an ab repair for distension or a hernia or breast cancer, so you had a breast lift. But either way, you want these things to heal properly. Now, I have another video talking about scarring and what causes scarring. Quick little recap. What causes really bad scars is not the incision itself. The incision is like a line. It's very tiny. What causes the scarring is the abuse to the skin around the incision that causes it to scar. So I have a scar on my hand that you guys can see. If you look at where the white thing is, that white thing is the actual cut. The dark skin around it is the skin that was abused, or the skin that was dry or pulled at or ripped at or not hydrated properly, and that's what happens. So my example is like, when you get a cut on your hand, right? Let's say you cut your hand open accidentally. It's a really deep cut and it needs stitches. You don't go get stitches. It takes 2 months to heal, 3 months to heal on its own, right? And it heals really thick and really fibrous, and you have a really deep scar, right? And that's because your skin and your body had to make tissue to fill up that hole. Versus if you got stitches and that skin was pulled together, then it wouldn't have to make all that extra tissue and it wouldn't scar as bad. It would just be that one little cut that you had because the skin was pulled together, so it didn't have to create as much. So that's how that works. Now, when it comes to not having stitches on your incisions, that is your doctor's call. The type of stitches that they do, the type of incisions, how they treat your incisions, how they want to, have them heal, whether it's glue, tape, dissolvable, non-dissolvable, that is completely up to your doctor, and that is not for us to say whether it's right or wrong the way they did it. One other thing that you guys have as far as incisions that takes a little bit to heal that really needs this wound care is your drain, the hole from your drain. That's a deep hole that usually takes a while. They usually do not stitch that closed after they take the drain out. In my 7 years of doing this, have never seen them stitch a drain hole closed after they take the drain out. So this wound care, which is one of the reasons we started carrying it, really, really works for patching that up. I call this like liquid body spackle because what it does is it not only, so what they tell you to get is Neosporin, or they'll give you an antibiotic ointment, or Bacitracin, or Vaseline, or Cetaphil, or Mederma, which is for scars, not for incisions, by the way, or There's another one, Aquaphor. They tell you to use Aquaphor. Those things are great for keeping it hydrated, but it's not going to help your body make new skin so that your body doesn't heal with scarring. That's not going to help protect the skin around your incision so that it doesn't crack and peel. And you guys know what I'm talking about. If you look at your incisions, there's like a layer of skin around it, or the scab is really thick, or the scab is kind of cracked. It's not like a flat, even, smooth scab. It's like really crusty and hard. Those are signs that it's gonna scar really bad. So how do we prevent that? Well, this wound care does a bunch of things. So number one, it's got silver in it, colloidal silver. What is colloidal silver? So it's silver, basically. It's nanoparticles of silver. The way that they construct it, you can't see any actual silver in the liquid itself, but the silver properties in this help to keep your incision disinfected. So it chases away and breaks down the proteins of all of the germs and microbes and things like that. So this helps to keep you clean and make sure you're not getting an infection. Neosporin, can't really speak for that. Bacitracin, Vaseline, can't really speak for that to make sure it doesn't do it. I know antibiotic ointments do that as well. That's a different story. But this stuff we know actually does make sure that you don't, have any debris or anything in there. It kills all the things in there. So that's the stuff. This also, I call it body spackle. That's what I like to call it, because it helps your body make new skin in that deep layer. Now, Neosporin will coat, or Bacitracin or Vaseline will coat with like a petroleum or a stickiness, or it like traps moisture on the top of it. So Neosporin, Bacitracin, and Vaseline are for scrapes. You guys have really deep cuts. You also have stitches. Now, that needs to heal properly inside the wound, not just on the top. So this stuff helps inside the actual wound itself, not just topical in there. This stuff also, why I call it body spackle, it creates like a liquid Band-Aid coating, and I'm going to show you guys at the end because I have a nice deep little cut here from my puppy scraping me the other day. But it creates an actual protective coating when it dries, like a liquid Band-Aid over that, so that it protects it, and then it works inside to heal it as well. So it's inside and out. It's not just like Neosporin, Bacitracin, and Vaseline, where it's a top layer of like petroleum. Now, here's why those things are dangerous. If you ever look at the consistency of Neosporin, even if you use a thin layer, it stays wet. So when your incisions are white and sticky, when that scab, think about when you shower, right? And you have a scab and it gets white and it gets really fragile. That's what Neosporin, Bacitracin, and Vaseline are doing to your incision. It's keeping it wet and keeping it from healing. We want your incisions hydrated, but not wet, because you guys have stitches. And if it's wet like that, those stitches aren't going to heal properly because your skin is wet and like thick and squishy and loose, and it's not going to heal right. So I have actually seen, and the doctor actually told her to stop using what she was using, which was the Neosporin, because her anchor stitch underneath her breast lift was ripping open. Because first of all, this is an area that is very moist all the time underneath here. Second of all, she was putting even a thin layer of Neosporin on there 3 times a day and covering it with the gauze and trapping moisture in there, so her incision wasn't healing properly, so the stitch didn't heal properly. So these things can be dangerous, but whatever your doctor tells you to use is what you should be using as far as an antibiotic ointment. If they tell you to just go get some store-bought Bacitracin, Vaseline, Aquaphor, put whatever on it, you guys don't want to do that. You want to be using this stuff because it's 1,000,000 times better and it'll help dissolve your stitches. Now, let's talk about that part. What does that mean? How do stitches dissolve? Well, you've got a hole, right? And then you've got a stitch that goes in it that pulls the skin together and holds it. The inside part of your stitch is what your body is healing and eating away at. The outside tail end of the stitch and the knot of the stitch is going to fall off with your scab when it gets pushed off the body. Once the internal part has completely closed, then that scab on the front falls off and takes the last butt end of that stitch with it. Or when your scab starts healing, if we're using the wound care and it's healing properly, that scab heals flat and that little knot from where the stitch is heals flat. Now, I have watched this stuff, even with the tail end of your stitch, the long end, I've watched this stuff turn that into something that's so thin, like a thread, almost like a hair, and then it just dissolves right away outside of your body, not even inside. It's dissolving inside too, but you can physically see the stitch dissolving on the outside of your body by using this. So it helps with that because it helps your body heal a lot faster and make skin a lot faster. So using that in conjunction with our post-op soap that we offer in our shop, because the post-op soap in our shop has the aloe and the arnica in it, which is going to treat the skin around your incision. This stuff is going to treat the incision itself. So you guys can get this. The link is in the bio for, all of our products, but there's that. So make sure that you're checking that out. But this stuff helps heal the inside so that the stitch dissolves properly, that you're disinfected, and that everything is healed and taken care of. This also has aloe in it, so it also helps soften your scab. Now, here's the thing. When your scabs are healing, if they're healing thick and crunchy like that, 1, it's your soap. 2, it's whatever you're using. If they're healing wet, it's definitely the Vaseline, it's definitely the Bacitracin, the Aquaphor, whatever store-bought wound care you're using. So if your doctor's telling you to go get a store-bought wound care, this is what you want. You don't want to be using any of that stuff because, again, even if you're using a thin layer, it's trapping moisture. There is no petroleum in this. There is no alcohol in this. There is none of that. It's, I think, like 4 ingredients in here. I have them listed on the shop page. So, okay, highly purified structured water, organic aloe, mushroom-derived thickening agent, and active colloidal silver. There is no alcohol, there is no petroleum, there is no fillers, there's nothing else in here except these ingredients. And all of those other things have tons of other ingredients in them that are going to slow down or reverse your wound healing. So again, guys, with all the products that we choose, they're all natural, they're very simple, and they work for specific things on your body. So this stuff is amazing. It will literally create, like I said, that protective coating. It'll heal it from the inside. It'll help your stitches heal faster, and it'll make sure you don't scar as much. Your scar, the goal for your scars is to be very, very thin because we want it to be just the incision. We want to protect the skin around it. And again, guys, you're super swollen. So your skin's going to be like this, pushed out, away, even with the stitch holding it because you're swollen. So we want to make sure that that skin is being treated correctly so that it doesn't, whole thing rip open on you. So that's this stuff. Now I'm going to show you how to use it because nobody uses this right. When you're putting this stuff on, same thing with your antibiotic ointment from your doctor. Now, side note, you can mix this or you can put on that antibiotic ointment and then put a little bit of this over it. 1, it's going to boost your healing. 2, it's going to add that liquid Band-Aid protective covering. 3, with your drain holes. Very, very specific. This is going to get in there. Make sure they're staying clean, killing any little micro germ thingies that are in there, and create that protective coating over and inside of it. When this stuff dries, it's literally like almost like not plastic, but it feels like a plastic coating. So how do you use this? This is a very big bottle. As with all of our products, you need to use a very little bit. I mean, less than a pea size, guys. So watch how I do this. I'm literally just going to get a little bit of it on the end there. That's it. That's all I'm going to use. That's it. Now, I have this really long cut here, right? So let me see if I can do this on the camera. I am going to put this over the cut. That little bit covers this whole scrape. Just like that. Now, it should be pretty, you should, be able to put it on there pretty easily. You shouldn't really be having to like rub it in or anything crazy like that. I'm going to use a little bit more. So it goes on, it's a little bit wet because of the aloe, but I'm going to show you when it dries how it's this nice protective coating that you'll see on your skin. And you want to make sure it's covered. So you want to make sure it's like, it looks a little bit wet on there. It doesn't burn, nothing like that. It's not sticky. There's no residue on my finger. My finger's completely clean. Yes, so this is sold out right now. We are hoping to get it back in stock in the next week to 2 weeks. It is on the way. The post-op soap will also be in stock next week as well. We are just getting the shipment of that. So that'll be in there, and I will post it on my stories when these things are back in stock. But this stuff is amazing. So I don't know if you can see, but there's like a protective like coating on top of this. Let me see if I turn the camera a little bit. There's like a nice, you can see it. it looks a little like a shiny protective coating right on top of it. So you don't need a lot. Now you're putting this on 3 times a day. You want to make sure you're reapplying all the way on top. I do have another little cut, which I could show you guys on my ankle. Yes, I'm klutz. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a little bit, and let's see if I can flip this around somehow for you guys to see. So I have this little cut on my ankle right here. I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I'm going to dab it on. And I'm just going to do it very gentle. Now, I'm not even pressing. I'm just gently, gently, gently rubbing over it. And I'm going to keep rubbing until it's dry. And I did the same thing. I used a pea-size amount. Now, you want to use enough that you have this coating on here. And I'm just going to rub. 2 things this is doing. 1, it's getting into the cut itself. 2, it's working the scab so that the scab is getting soft. And then it's going to create this little protective coating once it dries. Now, I am allergic to bug bites. So I have a lot of these little cuts everywhere all the time. I keep this by my bedside and I use it. Now, I don't use it because they're just little cuts. I don't use it 3 times a day like that. I use it once a day. And you'll notice that when you're healing, instead of a scab healing where it's black or brown and thick, it'll start healing white. So it won't scar as bad or look as bad. You'll start to notice that as it heals, your scab itself will become smaller and softer, and your incision will start to dissolve. So like I said, 3 times a day. So how you're going to use this is you're going to shower with our post-op soap. You're going to make sure everything is clean and disinfected. Gently pat yourself dry. Don't, rub or anything like that. Then you're going to take a little bit of this on your finger and you're going to gently coat your incisions, and that's it. You guys should be showering twice a day if you can. If you can't shower, a little sponge bath and put this on. Now, again, the only time you are using this and putting it on your incisions is when your incisions and your stitches are accessible and they're scabs, or when you can get to them like a drain hole and they're open. That's totally fine. If you have steri strips on, if you have, your incisions are covered by like a tape or something, obviously don't use this stuff. You can't get to it. So just make sure you're using it when you can get to it, when you can, see your scab, when you can see your stitch, and you're going to gently just rub it on, and that's it. And like I said, there are no fillers or anything in this, and it heals very, very light and very, very dry, and that's it. It won't heal like some sort of, greasy, wet coating. And yes, you absolutely can combine this with the arnica cream. So here's how you would do that. You'd put this on first all over your incisions, cover your incisions, cover it with that liquid Band-Aid so that the oil from the arnica cream or whatever you're using does not get in your cut. So you don't need to combine it with it, but you can combine it with whatever ointment that you have that you're using from your surgeon. So whatever surgeon, that you have, some of them, like I said, give you antibiotic ointments, you can use that antibiotic ointment first and then use this on top to give it that added boost and to make sure it's got that protective coating. So I just want to show you guys, now that it's dried, if you can see, there's like a shiny coating. It's very, very thin right over my little cut here. So, and like I said, it's going to have that little bit of whiteness to it. So you can see like that shiny coating. And again, guys, you're doing this 3 times a day. You're putting this on 2 to 3 times a day. So like I said, you're going to shower, you're going to use your post-op soap, and then you're going to put this on. And you're going to reapply it as you need it. And it's going to help. And actually with this, you can see kind of that like little coating that I was talking about on there, that little like white shiny coating over and around my incision here. I know it's really hard to see because of the camera, but you can see that little bit of white coating on there. So this stuff, amazing, amazing. Doesn't burn, doesn't leave you greasy. Use it on your incisions. You don't have to cover it with a little bit of gauze. Why? Because it's going to be dry, so it doesn't, just to protect that area, you can. Just make sure you get that protective coating, that you have that on there before you put a gauze or something on top of it. You don't want to cover it immediately when it's wet, and it only takes, like a minute to really dry. And like I said, it creates that protective seal. So definitely, you know, if you have like a full open wound, you're going to want to use a little bit more. You're going to want to dab it in there and make sure that it's in there and covered so that it's doing everything. And then with something like that, where it's a big open wound, yes, like a drain hole where, you know, the incision from where the drain was taken out, put that protective gauze against it, or cover it with like a light little band-aid. Or if you're still leaking, this stuff helps stop the leaking. Because again, it is creating that coating. So it's not gonna fully like seal it up and stop your leaking, but it is going to help create that coating so that you're not leaking as much. So we love this stuff for that. Especially if you notice in your incision that you do have that white area. That white area is skin. Now, that's a generalization. I am not a doctor. I am not a surgeon. I am not your doctor, your surgeon, or looking at your incision. So I can't say, you know, what that is. But usually that little like bit of white area inside your incision is tissue. So this going in there will help to, like I said, body spackle, cover that hole and get it all up in there. So this stuff is amazing. This stuff will be back in stock hopefully next week or the week before. But like I said, why you would get this and when you would get this. If your doctor is telling you to go get a store-bought wound care, this stuff is post-surgery. This is what you want for post-surgery. It's going to do the best. It's going to help the best. It's got the aloe. It's going to treat the skin around your incision so that you don't scar as bad. So we don't even have to deal with the scar cream stuff afterwards, which we'll talk about in another video. But this is what you want. So I will post the link to this in this video. The post-op shop link for this is in our bio, link in bio. So check that out. And like I said, I will make sure that I will post these on the stories when they are back in stock so you guys can get them with the link to the product, the link to the shop. I'm not sure. It is 3.38 fluid ounces. So usually I don't travel a lot, but usually I think it's 4 fluid ounces is the acceptable travel size for on the plane because you guys are coming from DR, Colombia, going back and forth. If not, this I barely pumped. If you get like a tiny little bottle, you can pump a bunch of this in there and then dip your finger into it and use it that way. The post-op soap also, you can put in a travel size bottle. It's a foam, just open, don't squirt it from the foam part. You can literally open it and like pour the liquid in and take the empty foam bottle with you so that you get the foam action of the actual cleanser. I know the same thing with the arnica. I have a question about that too with the travel sizes. Same thing. That's a big jar. Scoop out a bunch of it and it will last you your whole trip. Because like I said, a little goes a long way with these products, guys. So you don't need a lot of it. I think that's it for this video. We love this stuff. I love this stuff. Fun fact, if my dog gets a cut, or if his paws are really rough from like the ground, I will use this on him and it will create a protective coating on the bottom of his paws so he doesn't scratch me like this. So this is also safe for pets, which I absolutely love because if it's safe for me and safe for them, that's wonderful. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to post this video now. The BBL video is also going up today, so you can check out the BBL pillow video where I talk about what an acceptable BBL pillow is and why it should work and how it should work and why your BBL pillow is painful and how it's not working. The arnica video talking about the cream, the post-op arnica cream is also up. And next week I will be putting up a couple more videos. So guys, I am so excited. Take a look at our shop. Again, the link is in the bio for our post-op shop. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us at the email hello.amarehealingarts@gmail.com. If you want to book a virtual to get all your products and get you set up before you go on your surgery adventure, and you need guidance and things like that, you can always give us a call to set up a virtual, 732-841-0142. And guys, this stuff is amazing. No joke, super, super amazing. My favorite product. I use it all the time. I absolutely love it. Also, safe to use on your face. If you have a pimple that you're trying to heal, if you have a cyst, this stuff, just saying. So guys, I will see you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Bye.